The Sonic cinematic universe is expanding, with the fourth film in the franchise to feature Kristen Bell as the first female from the game's roster, Amy Rose. Initially shown in the mid-credits scene of Sonic 3, she joins the ever-growing cast of anthropomorphic heroes Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, and Shadow in the latest installment. That got me thinking. This is already a moneymaker for Paramount. The movies have been a hit, and even if the Knuckles TV show was received poorly by critics, it was still Paramount Plus's most-watched kids and family title ever, even lifting viewership of other Sonic shows. Barring natural disaster, we will likely see many more Sonic projects to come. So let's get ahead of the action. My name is Noah Waterman, and I'm here to cast and plan out the rest of the Sonic Extended Universe.
All right, boys, try and keep up.
A couple notes before we begin. This is not just a who's a good fit or who will emulate the video game characterizations best on screen. I mean, if it was, we'd probably just cast the current video game voice actors with a smattering of Critical Role stars to fill in where we can. I actually want to look at this from a Hollywood perspective. Take the balance between who would do a good job and who will sell tickets and make this feel like a big deal. I think Keanu Reeves and Idris Elba are like a perfect example of this, right? They lend star power and work for the character even if it initially felt like a huge departure from how I imagined it being. I'm also going to throw in loose storylines, and they will differ from how it plays out in the games. Look, Hollywood makes these changes all the time to be more palatable in the movie's time frame, and I'm not saying it's usually the best choice, and sometimes it's a really bad decision, but that will play a factor. We'll see it happen. Finally, I will not include your favorite character. I don't know who that is, but I've been on the internet long enough to know how you Sonic fans get and how much you love your deep cuts. So do I, but I still have other videos to work on, and the actual Sonic Extended Universe is too damn big. So sorry I didn't mention Manic the Hedgehog or Bark the Polar Bear. Okay, let's dive in. We don't know much about Sonic 4 other than our main cast returning and Amy Rose and Metal Sonic being in it. As mentioned, Kristen Bell is Amy Rose, and Metal Sonic seems to be more of a Foot Clan-esque minion than a singular character, since we saw so many in that mid-credits sequence. I'm assuming it stays without a voice, but if it does get a line or two, let Ben Schwartz do his best monotone robot delivery. You're not paying an extra actor, and it works with the idea that it is modeled after Sonic. Also, despite an apparent goodbye, Keanu and Jim Carrey are listed in the movie's IMDb page, and we saw Shadow's shoes at the end, so I'm assuming they stay in the mix too. Jim Carrey especially, since to use wrestling terms, the money feud is in Sonic vs. Robotnik, and the games have made him both face and heel many times as needed. Amy Rose and Metal Sonic were both introduced in 1993's Sonic CD. That game was focused around time travel and happened pre-Shadow the Hedgehog, and given the movie's aim towards a younger audience, I don't think that's the route we take. Instead, I actually think we aim to base the film on Sonic Adventure. It might feel a little bit like going backwards since the last film was already pretty closely tied to Sonic Adventure 2, but with some changes, Sonic Adventure works as an introduction to Amy and ties into Knuckles' past, which was featured in his TV series. I think the story remains loosely the same, though heavily truncated. Prior to the game, Chief Pachicabac of the Echidna clan wants the Emerald's power, the Guardian Chaos gets angry, and Tico seals herself and Chaos in the Mastered Emerald. For our movie, I think we're less locked into an antagonistic version of Pachicabac, so we bring back Christopher Lloyd from the Knuckles TV series for that role, and now they simply just discover this alien entity who comes in contact with the Master Emerald and becomes a monster. Given that our lead characters are technically aliens in their own right, I don't think Chaos speaks just to make it feel that much more otherworldly. Tikal still sacrifices herself to lock up the creature, and to give the character that wise, responsible, plot weightiness while still tapping into comedic chops, I'm thinking you up the star power with a one-time appearance from Lupita Nyong'o. Amazing actress, multiple awards, she just carried an animated film in The Wild Robot. She can easily pull it off and then be done to fill her many other upcoming commitments. That's all exposition that gets discovered throughout the film. Our main focus to start is bringing back Eggman. Maybe Stone uses some resources, finally gets his hand on the Chaos Emerald, and uses that to bring back Robotnik from the past. Okay, fine, so maybe there's a little time travel as like a nod to Sonic CD, whatever. It works, but then also frees Chaos, and a back-to-his-old-ways Robotnik uses Chaos as a new MacGuffin to destroy cities and rebuild the nation in his image. Now, we don't bring in Big the Cat. Not yet. Our hero team is Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, Amy, and Shadow, who finds his way back into the Bix, but with a bit of amnesia reminiscent of where we find him in Sonic Heroes. More on that later. This will drastically change the story from the moment-to-moment gameplay, but the end result will be similar. Chaos becomes perfect chaos, the heroes team up to take it out, and Tico uses kindness to calm the creature before they both walk off in the sunset, and Lupita can continue to winning Oscars elsewhere. Shadow, having helped the heroes but still not remembering anything, goes off on his own, and we still end with the found family happy moment. Credits roll. Mid-credits scene. We find Shadow in the forest at a campfire, somewhat mirroring a sadder version of the scene that ends Sonic 3. He hears a rustle in the bushes, and when he goes to investigate, another rustle from a different direction. Then another, then another. A lot of badass Keanu grunting and "show yourself" before a new voice says, "We mean no harm, we just want to talk." "Then who are you?" he angrily exhales to the ether, and flying down from above and out of the shadows is Rouge the Bat, saying, "The opportunity of a lifetime, sugar." Brief beat, then behind her we see the silhouettes of 3 more creatures, a bee, a chameleon, and a crocodile. Boom! Sonic 5 is Sonic Heroes and really our Sonic Civil War. Now, to find that sultry but not too sexy because it's a kid's film voice, we still want an A-list name actress. Rouge is a fan favorite, and that kind of makes a difference here. I go with Emma Stone, and if she's busy, Margaret Qualley. And then if she's busy, Miranda Baccarin. Personal preference would reverse that order, but from a Hollywood producer standpoint, I think that kind of makes sense. Supporting her are known names, but people who still had to do at least one round of auditions before being confirmed. I initially had Ice Cube as Vector the Crocodile, since that character's always been pretty hip-hop coded, but I couldn't hear anything in my head other than Superfly from the TMNT movie, so I actually think his son O'Shea Jackson Jr. could pull this off with comedic chops and a more distinct personality. To counter his comedy, I like David Harbour as Espio the Chameleon. A little gruff, more serious, kind of fills the comedic straight man role. I see Vector as the public face of the Chaotix group, but Espio is like the brains of the operation. Rounding it out for some cuteness, since this isn't the evil team, just the team opposite of Sonic, I get Ashley Birch as Charmy Bee. Cute, something more for the kids. She can find that range that feels right in the middle of Aloy and Tiny Tina, but doing that woman playing a young boy voice that is constantly used in anime dubbing. Lastly, we find a way to work in a rogue Robotnik robot, E-123 Omega, which goes under Rouge's control, and I really want Giancarlo Esposito doing his best like Paul Bettany as Darvis voice, but I'll settle for Alan Tudyk doing what he's done for Superman and Star Wars and just killing it across the board. This gives us a fun PvPvE movie where Team Sonic and Team Shadow race for a Chaos Emerald, and both have to stop Robotnik while they compete against each other. This is Rouge, Omega, Shadow, Vector, Charmy, and Espio against Amy, Sonic, Knuckles, and Tails. 6 on 4, which doesn't pair up as nicely as we'd hope. Budgets are good this season though, and well into our 5th film we have more to go around. So Amy brings in some friends from wherever she initially came from to join the fight, Big the Cat and Cream and Cheese, who count as 1 for the sake of this film, making it 6v6. Leaks will get out revealing that producers wanted Seth Rogen for Big, but Rogen is too busy with Donkey Kong and his various other projects, so fresh off his popularity from this season of Traitors, Big the Cat is played by Ron Funches, which quite frankly was the only right answer anyway. Cream, who will take on the cute character role on her team as they let Amy Rose be a little bit more badass, goes to someone with some cred to her name, although it probably strikes harder with a younger audience, Dove Cameron. She has extensive VO credits, and I see her putting on a good bubbliness for the character. Cheese, her Chow companion, goes straight to Tara Strong, basically doing a Pikachu thing where she says Chow for every word. Now, we're not going to overcomplicate things, because at this point we don't even really need the games as a baseline anymore. Shadow gets his memory, Rouge realizes that the Emerald is more than just a pretty jewel and needs to stay safe, and all 12 characters join forces to take on Robotnik's army before many go off and do their own thing. We take them their separate ways because after 5 films, we are ready once again to dive into the shared universe bullshit that every production company wants to see. For Rouge, we're actually going to lay out for a cycle just to make her return feel that much more special. Makes sense because she works as a bit of a lone wolf character anyway. Big the Cat, Cream, and Cheese go back home after helping Amy and start airing their own fully animated kids show. We're talking SpongeBob SquarePants, Fairly Odd Parents, you name it. No ongoing story, just the adventure of these characters and the shenanigans they get into. Ron, Dove, and Tara stay on and easily hold their own in an animated series. This is the kind of stuff they find themselves in all the time. And the show gives us room for inconsequential cameos every episode. I want to bring back the 2 robots from the Sonic's 90s cartoon? Do it here. Random appearance from Bean the Dynamite? Perfect. It happens here, and we can always pull the leads back for cameos anywhere else in the franchise. In a more Knuckles-style limited series run, we get the Chaotix Detective Agency, a live-action adventure featuring Vector, Espio, and Charmy. Somehow, they are inspired by James Marsden's Tom Wachowski, who is still frequenting the series but has been taking a bit of a back seat with all the new additions coming in. He helps the three learn the ropes of the legal system, and they end up investigating a series of high-speed thefts that are being blamed on Sonic and crew. Knowing that Sonic is not involved, they investigate only to discover the three hoverboard-riding birds doing the thievery. Storm the Albatross, played by great baritone Brad Garrett, Wave the Swallow, being portrayed with attitude and some self-importance in a way that only Jenny Slate can pull off, and in a big money move on behalf of Paramount combined with a executive producer role, Ryan Reynolds as Jet the Eagle. Sonic is a huge moneymaker at this point, but Paramount still wants to grow its subscriber base, and they think they still need an A-lister to bring in the numbers for a limited series like this. Now, before we get to the next Sonic movie, Paramount also surprises us with a Paramount Plus only short, or maybe a series of one-off shorts if it does well, using Adam Pally's character for comedic chops. However, we still need our CGI anthropomorphic characters, so making their debut in a fully comedic series of shorts, Wade Whipple teams up with his new partners, fresh from Sega Sonic the Hedgehog and Sonic Mania Plus, Mighty the Armadillo, played by Nick Kroll, and Ray the Flying Squirrel, played by John Mulaney. Rounding this out is the show's antagonist doing his best Jake Peralta gone bad portrayal, Fang the Hunter, played by Andy Samberg. Whew! Alright, so the Sonic Extended Universe is growing, but we still have movies to make. Luckily for you, and this video's runtime, I'm only hitting you with 3 more films. First, a bit of a palate cleanser to get us from the last film to this new era in the franchise. Sonic 6 is actually titled Sonic and the Deadly Six, and brings in Lost World villain Zavok, played by Will Arnett, Master Zik, played by Steve Buscemi, old enough to play wise but sly enough to stay evil, Zaz, played by Cheech Marin, Zor, characterized perfectly in their dark, sad emo state by comedian and Bob's Burger regular Aparna Nancherla, Zomom, voiced by longtime industry veteran John DiMaggio, and Xena, given personality and style beyond the one that's a girl by comedic icon Kate McKinnon. Sonic 7 then takes a slightly more serious tone. The human characters at this point have all been relegated to other spin-off series, and the kids that have grew up with the Sonic films are now starting to mature. Paramount doesn't make these films adult in any way, but does recognize that they need to keep the old audience and entice new ones, so we move into Sonic 06. I know, shit game. But let's be honest, people do want Silver and Blaze. Now, we up the ante with time travel ridiculousness and stories almost too epic to be conceived on camera. Our main cast of characters, Sonic, Shadow, Knuckles, Tails, and Amy, keep their presence and are joined in the film by Blaze the Cat, who I could not see being played by anyone better than Stephanie Beatriz, doing her best work from Hazbin Hotel. And in a role that has him overperforming to the point that you can't actually tell if it's bad or good, Dave Franco as Silver the Hedgehog. Reckless, immature, a lot of shout acting as he comes to terms with the weight of his abilities. It's very Luke Skywalker in the original trilogy in a way that critics will tear apart, but audiences will say, yeah, that makes sense. Whatever happens in this film, the time travel mishigas, the reality warping silliness will all lead to the heroes won but at what cost ending. Still happy when the credits roll, but mid-credits Sonic and team are visited by returning Rouge the Bat, more serious than she's ever been, providing news of something awful coming. This leads to Sonic 8, which the teaser trailer will show the number 8 and then turn on its side to reveal the film's new name, Sonic Infinite. This is Avengers Endgame, or more specifically, we are doing Sonic Forces, and teaming up with Eggman is our lead bad guy, Infinite. Now, this is tough because I wanted someone with gravity and a level of epicness to reflect the apex of the franchise. If I can be real, I actually wanted to push for Matthew Mercer here. D&D has taught him to play the big bad evil guy better than anyone, and there's a world where Critical Role continues on to the point where he can't helmet himself, and his representation sells him on big opportunities like this. In a world where that doesn't happen, I think you could either get Aaron Paul or Wyatt Russell to kill it. Young enough voices to fit the character's sort of thin look, with some processing to make it sound more alien and mysterious, but both can play absolutely hateable and emotional villains if need be. In this one, money is no object. This is our tentpole film, people. 8 Sonic movies, and we are bringing every character back. Big, Cream, Vector, Mighty, an army of Alan Tudyk-voiced robots, you name it. This is the epic clash where the fate of time and space itself hang in the balance. From there, I think Sonic writes themselves into a corner. But power creep kicks in and there's no way Paramount can maintain this momentum. Much like the Marvel movies, the next couple of projects fall a little flat in comparison, and we have to reset in order to continue. Such is the nature of franchises. Maybe they stop or simply just live long enough to become the villain. What do you think? Threw a lot out there. Did I miss the mark? Do you feel like I absolutely screwed that up? Let me know in your thoughts below. And you know what? Give us your own fan casting. Who do you want to see as these characters? And for everything else on the screen, big and small, stay tuned to Game Rant.